The wind rolled through the valley like a warning, bending the dry grass around the ranch that had stood there longer than anyone could remember. Clara Whitmore had grown up on that land. Every fence post, every creaking board of the old barn carried her father's sweat and her mother's prayers. Now men in clean coats and sharp boots wanted it gone, replaced by profit and progress. They had come again that morning, offering money she didn't need and promises she didn't trust. Clara refused them the same way she always did, quietly, firmly, without fear. The ranch was not for sale, not today, not ever. That was when the stranger arrived. He didn't ride in with confidence or pride. His horse moved slowly, like it carried too much weight, and so did the man. His coat was faded, his hat bent from years of use, and the rifle in his hands looked more like a memory than a weapon. People once whispered his name across towns, but those days were buried behind his tired eyes. Ethan Cole had been many things in his life: a gunslinger, a protector, a destroyer. Now he was just a man with nowhere left to run. The land buyers returned in the afternoon, louder this time. They brought threats instead of offers. Clara stood her ground in front of the barn, her hand steady even as her heart raced. She knew she was outnumbered. She knew how these stories usually ended. Ethan stepped forward before she could say another word. He didn't threaten. He didn't raise his voice. He simply stood between Clara and the men who thought fear was a language everyone understood. The wind tugged at his coat as he lifted his rifle, not to fire but to remind them of what he once was. The valley went silent. The men saw it then. Not the weapon, but the resolve. This wasn't a man chasing glory. This was a man with nothing left to lose. And those were always the most dangerous kind. They left. That night, Clara offered Ethan food and a place to rest. He tried to refuse. She insisted. Over a quiet fire, stories surfaced like ghosts. He spoke of choices that couldn't be undone, of violence that followed him no matter how far he rode. Clara listened, not with judgment, but with understanding. Days passed, then weeks. Ethan fixed fences, helped with the cattle. Slowly, the ranch began to heal, and so did he. Clara saw past the broken legend and found the man underneath. Ethan found something he never thought he'd deserve again: purpose. When the buyers returned one final time, they didn't come with threats. They came with silence. The ranch remained untouched, standing proud against the mountains. Ethan didn't stay forever. One morning, Clara found the barn quiet and the horizon empty. All that remained was a repaired gate